episode 4, why you don't need a pastor. I'm preparing y'all for something. Pastors are telling you, you need a pastor, you need a covering. Let's get this straight. Pastors, we don't need you. You need us. In order for you to be a functioning pastor, you need 2 things. You can have a title and a calling. That's great. But without the attendance of the people and their funds, you can't pastor a church. So to project, you're projecting that you need a pastor, you need a covering. No, you need us. Without us, there is no you. It's just like a business. Without customers, you don't have a business. You just have a nice LLC name and some paperwork and probably a building. But you can't function as a pastor without the people. I am preparing the pastors and I'm preparing the people for what is about to come. What is happening is, as we already see it, people are leaving the church day and night, left and right. I'm preparing the people to seek out your own spiritual fulfillment resources on your own, because churches are shutting down, things are happening, and you need to wake up. And I'm preparing pastors. Number 1, I'm preparing you to actually walk by faith and have the faith that you've been teaching so that you can continue your ministry, business, whatever you're doing. Or I'm preparing you to go get a job if this is your livelihood. This is not to be negative, to say, oh, people are waking up and they're angry and they're mad. They're just waking up to the truth. They're waking up to the truth that they don't need you. If that wasn't the truth, they wouldn't be leaving in large amounts. There's like an exodus that's been happening over the years, more and more and more. And after all the downfalls of all these churches and with the access to online resources, people are leaving your churches. They don't want to be there anymore. They're not fulfilled. They're still broke. And this is my whole purpose. I understand exactly the ramifications of making these types of videos. And I don't care. I'm not afraid of any religious idols that y'all have and demons. I'm built for that. I care about people. And it's not an attack on pastors. It's for everybody to wake up and see the truth that y'all need us. And so people are waking up to this idea that I have to have a leader, I have to have somebody over me. If every pastor died, if every pastor left, if there was no more pastors, if they stripped you of your government status of nonprofit, whatever, what would people do? You would have to seek it on your own. And that's what's happening. It was said back in the day that persecution is going to come for Christians. They used to preach that when I was a teenager a lot. We won't be able to have the Bible. We won't be able to meet together. We'll have to meet in secret and they'll take, our buildings and things away. That was then, talking about the persecution of Christians. But the same thing is happening now. It's just not in a persecuted way. People are realizing that God is bigger than a building. He's bigger than one man. What an insult for people to hear that you need me to get to God. I need a man that's flawed, just like me. I need a person that is messed up, just like me. When I say messed up, like we all have the tendency to do something. I would never murder. Get yourself in the right situation if somebody doing something to your child. Okay? You need me as the pastor over you. You're going to stop somebody from lying? You can't stop somebody from lying, from cheating, from stealing, from doing anything in our human nature. You can't stop that. So why do I need you? No matter what the preacher tells you, no matter what he says to you, whose responsibility is it at the end of the day to still do it? If he preaches a message about lying and being honest and things like that, when you walk out the door, who has to do the work to go be honest with people? You do. You already know on the inside right and wrong. It tells you in that Bible that you don't read that eternity is within you. He has put truth in the inward parts. You know right from wrong. You know when you've done something wrong. You don't need somebody to lord over you to tell you that. So no matter what they tell you, you go to church, it's Sunday. You go to church, you come home, whatever word he gives you, you are still responsible to implement that. And the same words and messages that he's giving to you, according to 1 John 2:27, I talked about it in one of these videos, it says you don't need anybody to teach you. The Spirit is already within you. So why am I saying all these things? Because the time is coming. It has already been here, but it's coming even more so where you're going to have to connect on your own. And that is the way that it was always meant to be. That's the truth that we don't want to address. It was always meant to be that way for us to connect on our own. Adam didn't have a pastor. Ooh, Lord, y'all, baby. Adam walked in the garden with God by himself. Adam and Eve didn't have a pastor. People are taking away their resources and their bodies from these buildings. And you're quick to throw that scripture, Malachi 3:10, will a man rob God? The true question is, will a man rob the people? Because that's what y'all have been doing. You know that tithing is not required. You know that. And it's not an anti-church, anti-pastor message. It's a reality check that pastors need to prepare and the people need to prepare. The church, pastors, all that should be a supplement to what you already do in your personal life every single day. Every day should be church for you. But that's not how y'all look at it. Y'all compartmentalize. I go to church on Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, they change the dates now on Sunday night or Saturday church, things like that. But it should be a supplement, like a vitamin. But you should be getting your true meat, your direction, your guidance from your inner man, your inner guidance. Always refer back to 1 John 2:27. I don't care what scriptures they throw at you. Leaders and all those different structures, that's man-made. You need to understand that. That's man-made. Man did that. Man put that stuff into place, right? And you got to look at what we're doing and what we're dealing with today. People can access God on their own. They can. People can access God, their spiritual life, their inward parts on their own. Well, I'm getting my meat and my bread from the church. You're getting a general word, because if there's 60 people in the congregation, he can't speak a direct, specific word to you. It could be encouraging. It could be motivational. But where do you get how you're supposed to live? Let's really check this out. You love to shout. Y'all love to praise dance, and you love that. Cool. You love to go and dress real nice. You like to dress real nice. Okay. You like the choirs. You like the singing. You like the music. You like a good squall every now and then. You want to be able to throw your handkerchief at somebody when they can sing a high note or do a nasty run and make that ooh face, right? You love all of that. That's great. You like a good drum solo. You like when they break the music. You like all the things. At the end of the day, how has that benefited and changed your life, especially Black people collectively? We as a collective, and I'm saying we as a collective because I'm no longer part of that. But all of you that are still in that, you are still in debt. You can't help your own community. You can't help really anybody. You can barely help yourself. But as long as you had that praise break this week, as long as you was able to get up and dress nice and then take your picture, church flow, as long as you could be in the place and just get a good feeling. And ooh, I love when she get up and lead worship. You love all of that, but then you go home and you're still depressed. You're still sad. Your relationships are not good. Your marriage sucks. You praying and fasting all the time for some kind of recovery in your marriage or in your health. It's not working. That's the whole point. We're doing and making all of these efforts. Every Sunday, you spending 6 to 8 hours preparing, going, and coming home from church and eating unhealthy food afterwards and going into a food coma. But us as Black people, and I'm trying not to cry. Us as Black people put so much time and effort in going to church, and our lives are not changed. Oh, he preached and you couldn't tell me what he said. And it's time out for that. Y'all have shouted enough. You've praised break enough, but you're still unhealthy, still overweight. And I'm going to always talk about it because our health is our wealth. You can't sit there and say that because you are 40, 50 pounds overweight, that's healthy. That's the blessing of the Lord. You can't run. You can't do anything. And you're young. You're 40, 50 years old. That's still young. 60. That's still young. But we can't do anything for ourselves. And then we want to get on here and talk about politics and thinking that Trump is going to save you, thinking that Kamala is going to save you. They have not saved you to this day. Not one president. That's why y'all keep getting into all these debates. And as Tony Fleming said, and I quoted him in my last video, you're always looking for a savior. When you are your own savior, you are your hope. You are your answer. Go within and find the answers to transform your life. You're always looking outwardly to a pastor, to a church, to something else to save you, and that makes you weak, that cripples you, that doesn't empower you. Because if all those things were to go away today, you'd be lost. And you're worried about my soul being lost in hell. You're already lost. You go to church every week and you're still lost. And in order for you to be found, you're going to have to get your main food, your main dish from source himself, from God himself, whatever you want to call it, Christ consciousness. I don't care. You're going to have to go within and really figure out, okay, I'm doing all this. I'm supposed to be healthy. I'm supposed to be wealthy. I'm supposed to have abundance, life and life more abundantly. And you don't, and y'all just settle for it because that's just how it's supposed to be on this side. When we get to the mansions, there are no mansions. It's talking about people. You got to do a study on that. Why would God have us down here on this earth and then when you die, we all gonna get a mansion? think we're all going to get a mansion. So we're all going to be isolated and separated up there. And then we just come out of our mansions every now and then and come and worship him all day and say, holy, holy, holy. He wasn't talking about physical mansions to live in. That's dumb. Come on now. Yes, I'm going for it. I don't care, because I want you to be free and I want you to think for yourself. Your main food, your main bread from inside your own spirit, directly accessing God, and then use all the other stuff for a supplement, for vitamins. But you should not be going every week and looking at him. Okay, what's the word of the Lord for the week? You should have already had that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You should be getting a word every single day. If you want to go to those places, go. But I also want you to look at your life and examine your life. How has it changed? Go read the comments on my YouTube videos in this series, especially the tithing series, where pastors are requiring people to give yearly dues and weekly dues. And if you don't pay those dues, there's a late fee. And if next week you still haven't paid, there's another late fee. This stuff is going on now and today, and probably worse things than that. And y'all are okay with it. And so then when they fall, we got something to say. No, you funded them. And I used to be there back. I came out of church in 2015. So I get it. But even when I was in it, I was looking at people strange and they're like, really? We need 1,000 families to give $1,000? Like, I was doing that at 15. Remember Adam, even after the fall. You want to talk about, well, that was after the fall, before the fall. Even after the fall, they didn't have a pastor. Even after the fall, well, we needed a pastor. We are meant to be free individuals. That's how it was meant to be. We were meant to roam this earth and be free and just connect with our creator. The reason why there's a lot of chaos is because people trying to control other people, and people controlling people and making them do things that they don't want to do, work jobs they don't want to work, do tasks they don't want to do, come into church. The chaos is because of the control. If people were free to seek and find their purpose on their own without you telling them what they're supposed to do, you meant to be a pastor, you need to be on a praise team, you need to be this, people would be happier. Well, Dorian, without a leader, there'll be chaos. Never said anything about not having laws. I'm talking about having people over you. Laws are great because there should be consequences when people do something wrong. But people know. They don't need you to tell them from a pulpit that they shouldn't lie. Their inner man tells them that. Their consciousness tells you that. If you drive up, like I said in the other video, you drive up to a gas station, it looks sketchy. You said all the time, something told me not to go there. You have an inner guidance, but we don't want to depend on that. We want the man. We want a king, like they talked about in Samuel. Give us a king. Give us a king. No, we don't want that. And God was trying to tell them, y'all don't need a king. All y'all need is me. No, we need a king. We are not meant to be controlled. Nobody is meant to be controlled. We are meant to be led by our inner spirit. And if somebody does something crazy, there will be consequences. That's why they have jails. That's why they have prisons. That's why they have the law. But we were not meant to look to a man for anything. Pastors, no matter what size your church is, there should be some humility that says, no, they don't need me. All they need is God. I'm just here as a vessel of support or, supplement, like I said before. But for pastors to tell people you need me, you're not in the will of God because you don't have a covering. Do you know what that does? That minimizes God himself, that God can't reach his child. God can't reach his people. God can't reach who he created, that he has to have you. For you to say that you have to have me to get to God, you're putting yourself in the place of God. Yes, you are. You're putting yourself that I am God, that you as a frail man, a human person, can reach me more than God who created me. When something is broken, you go to the manufacturer. When the Apple phone breaks, why are you going to the Apple representative when I can go to Apple itself? I don't need to go to God's representative. I can go to God himself. I can text Apple support on my own. Why do I need to go through T-Mobile? Because I got an Apple device from y'all, T-Mobile. I got to go through. No, they're going to send you straight to Apple, straight to the source. Now, this is powerful. You put your life in the hands of doctors who are practicing medicine. They're practitioners. They're practicing medicine. They don't always know what's wrong with you. They give you a general prescription, and you may have one skin disease. You may have another skin disease. They don't really know the difference. They're practicing medicine, correct? But you put your life in their hands, and you trust that. And they're humans, and they really don't always know. That's why they ask you, well, what about this? And how about this? And what about this? And that's why that do-it-yourself remedy, that stuff started to become popular, because people started figuring out stuff on their own, because doctors didn't always have the answers. Pastors don't either. They're practicing religion. They don't have the answers. Doctors giving the same prescription to 15 different people. Our bodies are so uniquely made. That's why you should go to the creator who made it. For everything, for your resources when it comes to finances, what to do in your health, what to do socially, in relationships, spiritually, all the leads, spiritually, socially, emotionally, all of them, right? A doctor is just practicing, and so is a pastor. They don't always know what you should do in your life. They're giving you a general message. This is why they'll say, take this medicine for 2 weeks, and if it doesn't change, come back and see me. Wait a minute, that means you don't know. That means you don't know if it's going to work or not. That's because our bodies are different, and it might not work for your body. Your body might not take it, but Sally Sue over here, her body did very well with that medication. It's the same thing in the church. That's why you need to prepare yourself to learn how to hear, be led from your inner man. Both pastors and doctors are giving general medications when we should all have separate prescriptions. Every single one of us, and you can only get that from the manufacturer. They don't know, they don't live with you. Your pastor, your doctors, they don't live with you. They'll give you a prescription when really all you need to do is drink more water. But if you would have fasted and meditated and got into your private time, that answer could have came to you if you would have asked and sought for it. You could save yourself a lot of money from doctors and pastors if you would go within and get your own answers, because you feel obligated to pay them because they're giving you a word that's not even really working for you. I want us as Black people, it can apply for anybody in churches. Look at your life. That's all I want you to do. Evaluate your life based on all the effort, the time, and the energy that you have put into the churches and to these pastors, and see where your life is. And some doctors will say, man, we've never seen this before. And then they want to do test studies. They want you to go through a trial, a clinical trial. We've never seen this before, because they don't know everything. They don't have all the answers. And this is for specific pastors. I've already addressed you in another video. The ones that actively do not take care of themselves, actively are overweight, actively do not exercise, actively out of shape, but you want to get in somebody's pulpit and tell them what the Lord is telling them about their soul? This is not about the ones that are actively working on their weight and working on their body and being an example. You can't tell me anything. I'm looking at you and I don't see any discipline, but you want to try to tell me how to discipline my soul spiritually? You're trying to tell me how to be spiritually disciplined when you don't even have physical discipline. It is tied together. You're saying you don't have any control over what you put in your mouth. You'll sit there and you'll eat anything, especially after church. Go sit down. You don't work out. You don't exercise throughout the week. But the Lord is telling you something for me. But the Lord is not telling you, stop eating that fried food. Stop eating this, or eat this in moderation. Get up and work out. But you sit there in the Bible and try to get a message for the people. The message is you. You're the walking message. People don't want that. People see that. And when they're watching your belly go back and forth, that is a distraction. This is what I'm saying. People are not stupid. People are intelligent. And you're insulting people's intelligence by telling them, you need us, you need us, you need us. That's not the case. And if it is the case, we need you to be an example. We need you to be fit. We need you to be healthy. We need you to make better food choices, better drink choices. We need you to exercise. We need to see that, because that's what helps our people, especially Black people. You can go to church today and look down your row and you will see maybe one, if any, that are in shape. I'm talking about where you actually see muscle mass. It is rare. There's going to be more overweight, unhealthy people sitting in the pews on Sunday than there are healthy people. But we're all going to heaven quicker, sooner than later, because we're dying of sickness, heavy with the sickness, heavy with the disease. When was the last time as you as a pastor got in your pulpit and said, y'all, I'm going on this type of diet? You shouldn't do it like specifically what I'm doing, but I want you to seek God yourself and see, where you are with your health. No, because y'all depend on the sickness so that you can pray for them and have them sow a seed for their healing. I did a whole other video. I'm going to tag it because 4 pastors told me to shut up when I was talking about pastors, not taking care of themselves, but then want to tell people like me we're disqualified to say those things and to speak on pastors. The devil is a lie. That's what y'all like to say. That's a lie. I am more than qualified to talk to people about their health and their mental health. None of that's being addressed in the churches. Oh, that's just the devil binding. I bind that spirit on your mind. Lastly, let's address this church hurt stuff. People are leaving because they're hurt by the church. Number one, that should not even be a phrase. Why are people getting hurt by the church? And if you're getting hurt by the church, you should leave. That's that sick addiction to trauma and pain that needs to be healed. If you're being hurt in the church, you should leave. For example, let's compare school and the church. If there's a girl who needs to go to school, she has to get an education. She goes to school, she gets raped or sexually assaulted in the bathroom by a teacher, someone who she's supposed to look up to, right? Comes home, tells her mom, I understand, but you need to be in the house, you need to be in the church. People have gotten raped, sexually assaulted. I've shared my story in the church, but you need to be in the house of the Lord. You on the outside are telling someone who's been hurt in these ways, criminally, physically, spiritually, all the ways, financially abused, but you're telling them to go, you need to be in the house of the Lord. You don't know what the hell people have been through. You don't know. And some of you do know. You don't know what somebody has experienced. So to tell this child, you still need to go to school, baby. You still need to be in school. I know that's what happened. You just heard about what your teacher did, but you still need to be in school. That's not a loving parent. And God is not telling his loving self is not telling his child, you still need to be in the house. I'm talking about the God you serve. Looking down and seeing that this person got raped or sexually assaulted by a leader, but you still need to be in the house of the Lord. Well, her mama can put her in another school. Well, not every church is like that. She can go be under another pastor. You don't know someone's experience, because as I did, that daughter that went to school and that happened to her, she's going to see every teacher as a possible threat. She's never going to feel safe in that space. She'll never feel safe. But a loving parent will say, hey, if we got to get you a private tutor, if we've got to put you or find a space that's safe for you, maybe you just need to be in a small group. Maybe you just need to be at home. Maybe we need to get you a tutor. Maybe you need to be homeschooled. That's what a loving parent would do, not try to force them back into a place where they were hurt. That is stupid. It's dumb. And God is not doing that. That's y'all. That's y'all telling people you need to be in the house and you have no clue what has happened. So if people leave because of church hurt, good. They need to. They need to find someplace else, or they need to find another way to connect with God. And well, it's people involved. That's why. Okay, then cut the people out. I don't need people to get to God. That's the whole point. So why should I keep subjecting myself, anybody, going to this school, seeing a teacher? They may see that exact same teacher, which happened in my case. I see him back on stage the next week after what he did, expose himself as a 15-year-old girl, exposed himself to me, back on stage the next week, got a little rebuke. Y'all like that word. And back on stage leading worship. And then she goes to class and she's got to see Mr. So-and-so, knowing what he did to her. But you got to be in that building. You need that education. You need the Lord. So church hurt is a real thing and it shouldn't even exist. But it does is because we're out of order. We're doing things out of order. We're putting ourselves, as pastors, putting yourselves in positions that you don't need to be in because you can't handle that. A loving parent would reach that child where they are. Stop trying to make them go to a building. Something traumatic happened to them. Something detrimental happened to them mentally or physically. So you need to be in church. You won't go to church? She don't even go to church. As if God can't reach that child or that person or anybody.